Welcome back to the lecture series of function of complex variable. So in the previous lecture actually I have discussed what is the relationship between analytic function and the conformal mapping. Then I have discussed four special kinds of mapping and their geometrical consequences. They are the rotation, magnification, translation and inversion. So here I am going to discuss another important mapping in the complex variable, that is called as the linear transformation. So linear transformation actually transforms the variable z from z plane to a plus bz in the w plane. So here you can find that all these three previous cases out of the four cases we have discussed, apart from inversion, all these three cases are involved here. That means the rotation is involved, the magnification is involved, the translation is involved. So here you can find that a, b, z all are the complex variable. So first z is magnified whenever we are multiplying z with b, so bz. Now if we represent this in the form of a polar coordinate, so this can be written in the form of a plus b to the power I phi, where phi is the argument of b and b is the Poisson vector corresponding to the complex variable b, and z can be written in the form of r e to the power I theta. So ultimately it can be written in the form of a plus br into e to the power theta plus phi. So here you can find that initially z was r e to the power I theta. So we are multiplying with r e to the power I theta b amount. That means we are actually magnifying z by multiplying with b. Then actually we are adding phi with the angle theta, that is the argument of z. That means it is rotated to an angle, extra bit of angle phi. After that we are adding a. So that means we are translating the amount of translating the Poisson of the resultant complex variable to a. Then ultimately we are getting actually the value of w. So here phi is the component of rotation, b is the component of magnification, and a is the component for translation. So all these three things are involved. So graphically here you can visualize this. So z is here, z is the component. So by virtue of the function f, that is mapped to w, that is a plus bz. So how we are getting this ultimately? By considering the combination of the rotation, translation and magnification. So b is here. So I have assumed that here the b, the mod of b, that means the Poissonal vector or magnitude of b is greater than 1. So it is actually magnified. So it is magnified. This amount of magnification is there. So it is actually increased. The length of the bz has been increased. So after that, it is rotated extra bit of argument b amount. That means phi amount. So now it is the position after magnification of that vector z or of that input z, and then after rotation of phi amount, it is coming here. Now we are translating this a amount in the same direction. That means it is not rotated. Now it is translated. It is shifted from this position to this position. That the amount of translation is a amount. Now the ultimate position of w is this. So actually in xy plane our z is this, and after doing this linear transformation we are getting w here. So this is actually the linear transformation. So in the first semester actually I have studied the linear transformation. So whenever we will say that a function of complex variable is a linear transformation. So if these two conditions are satisfied, the first one is if I add two functions or if I add two inputs, then impose the function on it, then it will be same as if I impose the function on each of the variable and add them together. That means f of z1 plus z2 will be same as f of z1 plus f of z2. That means addition is preserved under this transformation f. Another is f of cz. That means this is the scalar multiplication. So we are multiplying c with z. So then we are imposing the function f. So that is same as c into fz. So if these two conditions are satisfied for a given function, then we will say that this is a linear transformation. Here we will discuss what do you mean by the fixed or invariant point of transformation. So whenever we are considering a mapping w equals to fz, we will get the fixed points by considering this equation z equals to fz. That means fixed point means the z is mapped to z again. That means the point is fixed under this transformation. So they are called as the fixed point or invariant points. So we can actually get the values of invariant points of a transformation if z equals to w by imposing w equals to z. So how we can, I am giving one example how we can get the value of invariant points for a particular function. So let us consider the function fz equals to z square. So this is our w is z square. So in order to get the invariant points, I need to substitute w equals to z. So fz equals to z. That means z square equals to z. So z square minus z will be 0. So that means z into z minus 1 will be 0. So that implies either z is 0 or z is 1. So here if I consider the functions if z equals to z square, we can only find that 2 points will be mapped to the same point again under this mapping. So we can actually get those values. So here you can verify also. If I put z equals to 0, f z will be 0. So 0 is mapped to 0. If I put z equals to 1, then also I'll get this will be 1. So these 2 points are called the fixed point or remaining points of this function. So in that way, if an arbitrary function is given to us, we can find out the fixed point or invariant point for that particular function. So in this lecture actually I have discussed what is the linear transformation and what are the conditions for a function to be linear transformation, and how we can geometrically signify, geometrically visualize the linear transformation, which is nothing but the combination of the rotation, magnification and translation. Then I have discussed what are the invariant points. So in the next lecture I will be going to discuss what is the properties or what the different problems related to the conformal mapping. So till then, stay tuned.